Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, March 16, 2023, and it is a special day. Can't do all that I want to do because we have a guest, but I want to start the morning off by wishing my mother, my queen, during this Women's History Month, the number one woman in my life, a happy, let me see, I'm 51. I'm not going to get in trouble, but happy birthday, Ma. Love you. All of you that are in the Java Cafe, please do me a favor real quick before we bring our guest in. Some of you have already started. Sharon Cornelius already got started. Please wish my mom a happy birthday. We're going to bring in our guest this morning. As many of you know, Nubian Square is under a lot of revitalization, renovation, innovation. And one of the things that is coming to Nubian Square in Roxbury is the Greater Roxbury Arts and Cultural Center. And I'm not exactly sure when it will be done, but very soon you will be able to go to see a play, a concert, a talk show right there in Nubian Square. And you can do it now at Bruce Bowling and whatnot, but there aren't any lights, any stage, any cameras, or there's some action down there, but we are excited this morning. This has been sort of a few months coming on my end. This wonderful Queens team is awesome, has been patient. And so shout out to JJ, Abby, and others in the background. I have to name the wonderful queen that connected us, Malia Lazu, who I'll get to hang out with this weekend. But thank you, Malia, as well, for making this connection. Listen, without further ado, because this young woman, we already follow each other and engage on social media, I'm going to go ahead and say she be all over the country. And so I would love for you all, some of you, to meet and be introduced to our inaugural president and CEO of the Greater Roxbury Arts and Cultural Center, Miss Taneshia Nash Laird. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And let me ask you, what time in the morning is it where you are? Because do we need
I'm East Coast.
Okay. Today. You're on the East Coast. Today. Please say good morning to the folks and hello, and we'll go in and learn a little more about you in a few minutes, but greet the folks and we'll jump right in.
Good morning, everyone. I saw folks retweeting. I know you have fans that come and see this, and I'm just excited that you all have decided to tune in today. Thank you.
I am too. Every day that they tune in, I'm so glad and happy about it, because they are what keeps the Java Cafe percolating. And so, Taneshia, let me ask you, tell us. On one end, I want to say, how did you wind up in this position? But tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, how your affinity for the arts were developed in you. Let's get to know Taneshia.
So I grew up in White Plains, New York. That is about 35 minutes north of Manhattan, less than that, north of the Bronx. Usually I say north of the Bronx so people understand where. Raised by a single mom who really indulged my passion for the arts. The very first artistic experience I really remember, she took me to see the exhibit. I'm a little older than you. She took me to see the exhibit of King Tut. at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And then she worked at what was then called the Union Child Daycare Center, and they had a community outreach program of dance. And so I was in the dance program. And so ever since then, I've just kind of had this life immersed in the visual and performing arts. I did all the things in high school. I sang in every choir, chorus, every genre, the American Songbook, Glee Club, the jazz ensemble, Cultural Horizons. Shout out to Mrs. Green, who created the gospel choir for school. I played flute in the orchestra and the band. I was in every school play, every school musical. Yeah, that was it. And my mother indulged all of that. And so she's no longer with us. Happy birthday to Mama Java,
Thank
by the
you.
way.
Thank you. She
But
loved
yeah, so my mom is no longer. So I really kind of like to honor her and wish she got to see that, because she indulged all of this, but she never really thought working in this was like a career. So I was actually what's called a Westchester Arts program a participant. It was like a pre-professional program in the various disciplines. I was, and so I went to Purchase, and this is while I was still in high school, Purchase College, which is the State University of New York's Arts College for dance. But she never really thought this was like real, right? I also was very involved in the hip hop scene.
Yes.
So I was one of those folks from age 13, had my little composition book where I was writing my rhymes.
You had bars?
Yes, listen. Yes, I was rapping in the park. I was very involved in the hip hop scene. It's funny because people ask me, am I okay with my kids, going into the city? I have a 16-year-old is my eldest, but I was sneaking out the house and going to the Latin Quarter Ballroom and dancing and yes, the rooftop. And so all of those folks that my mother never thought would be a real career, they're my age and older and still have a career, like LL and all those folks that I used to see out there. But yes, that was my thing. So I was doing my formal dance, but then I was doing my hip hop dance when I was going out. So that's me. That's my story. It's funny. There's a few people that I have been engaging with from Boston on social. And when I was telling someone, well, my first actual job was director of media relations for Planet Rock Music, Africa Bambaata's Zulu
Yeah.
Nation. Yes, I worked for Ahmad Henderson. It was in Jazzy J's studio on Allerton Avenue in the Bronx, above the H&R block. I was 22, and so to go from that to what I do now, it all kind of makes sense. And all in between that, I was an economic development official. I worked on Park Avenue as well in private equity. So yes, so it's possible, right? Like, yes, I got receipts on all levels.
Wait a minute. You said you got receipt. Listen, and I love the fact that one of our artists is in here. And I don't know if you had a chance to meet him yet, but please seek out this young man. Danny.
Yes, we know him because
Oh God.
I spoke to him his class when he was still in school. So yes.
Danny is definitely an awesome artist and an activist here. And so there is, oh God, I just wish I can't wait till I get a building and can sit and do these things for 2 hours and like
We
Joe
don't
Budden.
have a building for you. That's the whole purpose of this conversation.
Listen, well, let's kind of go into that. I don't want to skip some things because I'll just go back a little bit and say arts and culture is ingrained in who you are along the spectrum of a artist. You have a principal, you played the flute, you sang. What stood out to me the most is your study in economic development.
Yes.
So do me a favor. And as an artist, and you talked about a career, we hear the term starving artist and whatnot. Please correlate your art and economic development, and then we'll get to Grok. But
yeah,
how does that intersectionality work for you?
Thanks for asking about that. When I was still in undergrad, I remember creating my own minor, right, through the Department of, I think it was called Black and Hispanic Studies at Baruch College, is where I got my undergraduate degree, a bachelor's of business administration with a marketing concentration. But I created my own minor that I called Black economics. And, at that time I was reading folks like Jawanza Kunjufu, like when I tell you, like all of the full spectrum of the things, but I actually still didn't know that economic development could be a path and a career. And so how that happened was crazy. I have to give a shout out to someone who is happy for me, but not happy because, well, you'll understand why. Troy Vincent, who played for the Eagles, who is now a senior vice president at the NFL. He was my client. I worked with him to do a project in Trenton, New Jersey. And then that's why I became a city official for Trenton, New Jersey. So yeah, his biggest fear is that I become a Patriots fan. But
tell Mr. Vincent that you know, we will have no problem orienting you to Patriots Nation. And the Celtics.
Yeah, but it was actually working with him that working on a project. He was still playing for the Eagles at the time. This is like 2002, 2003. That it was my interactions with his hometown, his home city of Trenton, New Jersey, and the negotiations with the city, and being frustrated through that process, having had consulted on projects in Harlem. There's a whole that would be like, my career would be a whole show. I worked for a celebrity interior designer in the ladies. We had clients like Queen Latifah, Puffy, Diddy. He's Puffy then, still Puffy to some of us. And and Damon John, and Kareem Biggs. I went from that to consulting with developers in Manhattan. And that was sort of like my own master's in urban development and planning. And then started a business called NLB Development with a person whose wife is from Roxbury, which I did not know. That's right. Sharna Lee Brown is her married name now, but Sharna Lee, for folks that know her. And we started this consultancy. And in doing the consultancy, we were working in Brooklyn and in Trenton, because we had something called Back Home, where we work with athletes and entertainers on what we called social impact real estate projects in their hometown. And this is before this was part of the lexicon. I just want to say, like, we were doing this in 2000.
Before it was big and sexy and trending, and yeah.
And it was from that experience where I was really frustrated with this process that I wrote an op-ed piece in what's called the Trenton Downtowner. And I was critical, but I was hopeful, because I was meeting all these amazing people from Trenton, which is a predominantly Black and brown place. And they were leaving frustrated. And I was like, this is what we can do to really have Trenton meet its potential. And I'll never forget, because it was the day after the general election of 2004 that the mayor, who I had gotten to meet, he called me, and I remember looking on the phone. It says the city of Trenton. I was like, oh, who's it? And he says, yeah. I read your op-ed. I was like, okay, Mayor. And he was like, yeah. My wife thinks I should hire you. And that's how I got the job as the head of economic development for the city of Trenton. I know. Yeah.
So these receipts and resume, I think really, so let's again, celebrating everything that named there, but I know we have a limited time, and I know you're going to highlight and I'll just say that you're going to owe me a second appearance, because there's just so much. Are you working on the book?
You know, how we bought our first house, this is my other receipt, is we wrote a book called Still I Rise. The first version was called Still I Rise, a cartoon history of African Americans. The second version is Still I Rise, a graphic history of African Americans. The first edition, we got $175,000 advance, and that's how we bought our home in Princeton, New Jersey. The second edition has
yes, we're keeping it real.
And the second edition has Barack Obama on the cover. But I do have an agent now. My old agent wanted me to write a book on community development. My new agent wants me to write a book on community development. I feel like the story is still being written.
Yeah.
The other thing that is sort of I don't know if it's so unique, but it's sort of my thing, is that I also, from that first time working for Courtney Sloan at Alternative Design, and working for these rappers and basketball players that wanted to do these crazy houses, and we did them, but we were also trying to sell them on doing community impact work, which is how I think Khalil and I ended up starting NLB. So even when I was City of Trenton, my first major project was one that was backed by Magic Johnson's Canyon Johnson Urban Funds. My last role at Newark Symphony Hall, I ended up partnering with Richard Lawson and Miss Tina Knowles Lawson and their Waco Theater Center. So Miss Tina and Richard Lawson, by the way, is the one that I was really excited about because I had a crush on him in high school when he was on Dynasty, Romance, and Diane Carroll. His wife knows.
I'm done. I'm done. Go ahead.
But now we have a film that we're bringing to part of. I've already spoken to the Roxbury International Film Festival about bringing that. So that's kind of the flavor that I'm seeking to bring. I want to elevate everybody in Boston, Black and Latinx Boston, but I also want to make those connections to people outside because we're all in that same struggle. Whether you're talking about Trenton, whether you're talking about LA, whether you're talking about Newark, there are real connections. And that's why in a very short period of time, I now pretty much know a lot of the Black folks that are in the classical and opera music scene because we need each other. We need community. And that's what I want Grok to be. We got to shift to Grok now.
We're going to shift. So before we shift exactly to Grok, from all of that you mentioned, you mentioned that the mayor called you from Trenton. What was the phone call, the email that led to Grok? Tell us how that happened.
They called me. So
okay.
I didn't mention that unfortunately now my husband has passed away. It's been 10 years since he passed away. Before we passed away, we developed what was our dream business. Our dream business was Mist Harlem. It was very similar to Grok. It was a visual and performing arts center, but a commercial one in Harlem. Folks, pretty much every reality show used us, Love and Hip Hop and all that. We opened that the official opening was 2013, but we did sort of a full year of ramp up. We did things like a book signing with Dwayne Wade. We were the sole Black venue that he used for that. We did screenings. It was very similar. The only difference between Mist and Grok is that Mist had a black box. We screened Ava DuVernay's films. She's somebody else that I've known for more than 20 years and that I'm hoping to, I'm going to strike a partnership with her for Grok. It was a person who knew me from that, who worked at the Apollo, who knows one of the Nubian Square Ascends partners. And I guess he was talking to her because I think they have been in this recruitment phase for a little bit. And he called me, and I'll never forget, it was August 12th. And he gave me
the day.
Yeah, I remember the day.
How important
August 12th. Because he also gave me this 10-minute speech because I thought he wanted me to consult because I do still consult with people. I consult with folks, Black folks who want to do things. I have a real understanding of economic development tools in terms of bonds, in terms of tax credits and all of those things.
So funds and all that.
All of those things. And so I consult on that because typically you have to pay expensive people, and my business coach still says that I give it away. But anyway, I thought people were, and I'm trying not to anymore. I know, because I think it's structural issues in terms of why the systems are the way they are. So anyway, I get this call from Stephen Rogers, and he gives me this 10-minute speech, and then he says, "And you're the person that we think should come run this."
So
I was like,
after the 10-minute speech, laid everything out, and then at the end, you want to do it? And
I was like, no, I just started I just finished raising, I had just finished raising, I think $12 million for Newark Symphony Hall. I was in the midst of putting in an application for another $8 million for a historic tax credit, state-based historic tax credit. And Miss Tina and Richard were coming to do another event for the Newark International Film Festival. And I was like, no, I can't do that. I was like, what? And you know, I was really, then he proceeded to contact me for 12 days straight.
Oh, persistent. Hey, you go, you come in.
He was sending me emails. He was sending me and then, you know, what really I feel like gave me the permission right, was I was speaking to Richard Lawson, who he doesn't know this. He'll, I have to send him to it. He's kind of a mentor to me. One of his good friends, Richard Wesley, who was on my board. Richard Wesley's screenwriter, wrote the Uptown Saturday Night, Let's Do It Again. Amazing, whole bunch of plays. He was on my board at Newark Symphony Hall. And so anyway, speaking to Richard Lawson, and he said, Tanisha, people aren't building places like this. He was
No.
like, people are not doing that. And here's this incredible opportunity, and I thought he was going to say, you got us to Newark and doing this project. And instead he was like, I think you should do this. And so my friends were also saying, I think you should do this.
Okay.
So yeah.
And that's how you got to Grok. And so tell us again, we're going to have a part 2 and a part 3.
I know.
There's the whole economic development piece and the arts. I'm sure you met Michael Bobbitt, and he talks about the contribution that the arts in general make to the state of Massachusetts, and I'm sure other states, and specifically a lot of the arts that a lot of Black and brown people perform. And so he's talked about the equity in that. And so that could be part 2 or part 3. And so you got the call, you decided to say yes, you're coming to Grok. Tell us about Grok from your end. And for those of you that don't recognize the acronym, Grok stands for the Greater Roxbury Arts and Cultural Center. So that's what Grok is. Tell us your vision for Grok.
It's going to be a joyful place, right? It's going to be a place where Black and Latinx culture is celebrated in all of its forms. So that means on stage, we're going to have theater, plays, dance, music, of course, music, right?
Yes.
We are going to have cinema, right?
Talk shows.
That's it. Yes. We're getting there. I call that talks and thoughts, right? So that's that's the humanities component. And then both entrances, because there's an entrance on Washington and an entrance on Eustis, are going to have opportunities for visual art as well. So it's a visual and performing arts center, and it's going to have rehearsal spaces. So all of these sort of place for us to be lifted up and convened. One of the things that was really interesting, Dart Adams, I think, is the one who talked about the sort of erasure of Blackness in the depiction of Boston and Massachusetts and pop culture. And he's right, because when I saw the numbers, Black folks are 25% of Boston population. You would not know that. Right? I'm not even just talking about Nubian Square and Roxbury, which we know there. I'm talking about the total population. You would not know that by watching popular culture, the movies that I go to see, the television depictions. And so this is about lifting that up. This is about equity. This is about access in the true space, and it's inviting, right? So we're going to be putting that on the stage, but we want everybody to come and consume this. So this is also about creating a destination for arts and culture in Nubian Square for everybody.
We could just end this right here. I'm like, yes, because it is. And I mentioned to you, I'm sure some folks are, she ain't from here and but you bring a ridiculous wide variety, myriad of eclectic art and economic experience.
Yes.
That is, not saying that no one didn't have it here, but I also could sense from you that you probably a woman of faith and believe that destiny, plays a role. And so go ahead. You were going, it looked like you had a thought.
No, I was going to say, first of all, there's incredible talent in Boston. So people are there, and I'm finding them, and I'm hoping to connect them and elevate them and lift them up even more than they are right now. But yes, I do believe, I kind of believe that by every role, though. It was funny because it was my husband who had said that my first job in economic development, he was like, wow, your resume now makes sense. Because I went from hip hop to Park Avenue to all that. But economic development kind of brings it all together, right? then I had I feel like every role that I've had has built on,
Yeah.
and this honestly, this is legacy here too, right? Because
Yes.
one of the things that Kai and Chris Grant, who are also partners in this, owners of the Black Market,
Yep.
I did my due diligence and looking at folks, and we also have a lot of interconnections. Shout out to my cousin, by the way, Dawn Hayes, who I didn't even know was my cousin. She was the lottery person. Do you know Dawn Hayes?
No,
Folks,
the lottery person. Which lottery?
sister for Massachusetts, and
The
so
Massachusetts State Lottery?
that's right. She was the one that was picking. I think she was the first Black woman across the country to do that. And so I keep finding these people that I'm connected to. It turns out Kai and Chris are connected to another dear friend of mine who is up there and now a dean at Harvard Medical. And I have another friend who is a guidance counselor in the Mecca program. Coordinator Katani. I'm naming these names.
Tiny is my that's sister-in-law. Chris is like,
Wait.
I owe him an email.
Okay, so Katani and my late husband are both Brown undergrads and good friends. And so what I'm finding is that every time when I told people that I was taking this job, the number of people that came into my DMs on every platform who were like, "We got you," right?
Word. See.
Yes.
So
And
there
so,
was that
yeah.
welcoming there versus, because I had joked with the team. I said, Boston's known, and you let me know that that's kind of across the country.
Yeah.
Is that just having that little reputation that Boston has some time, but folks came out and were like, "Yo, what's good? What you need when you get here?"
And still, so it's really amazing. And I'm thankful. So anybody who's watching this who has sent me a message, that has sent me an email, I've got a slew of emails in the past couple of days because I'm actually also curating a couple of art shows under the Grok name. So we're going to be doing programming before we actually open
Absolutely.
our building. And so I have a couple of exhibits coming up, and I also have some shows coming up. And I just want to thank everybody for wanted to work with me and wanted to work with us.
It is, the love in here is crazy. Belinda is saying this was part of my dream to have something like this for our young people. Leslie, who's an artist, an author. Wait a minute, hold on. Did you, when you watched the Embrace unveiling, right? Did you see the choir?
I'm trying to remember. I think I saw. Was that her? Was that?
No, she was part of the choir. But
Okay.
if it's not a vivid memory, then maybe we didn't do our job.
No.
I'm messing.
I'm gonna tell you, I had it on in the back because I was still on the clock. So I had it on
And work
one
it.
tab, and the other tab, that was in my early days on the job. I've only celebrated 3.5 months. So I had it in one tab.
And then work it in another.
And I was working on the other tab.
Well, if you ever need a choir, we are yours truly also used to be a choir director. Well, still back in the day. So the Voices of Embrace is definitely available to come and work at the opening and do the Black National Anthem. I'll send you the file because this arrangement, sis.
Okay.
No, this arrangement is ridiculous. I wanted to slap the arrangers when they gave it to me. I was like, how are we going to teach all these tensions, excuse me, and modulations? But the love is definitely here for you. And one of Katani's big sisters, Sharon, is in talking about it. I am just really.
Dawn just sent me a text. so people are like, thank you, y'all. I appreciate it. I'm looking at the comments now. I didn't realize I could see them. But
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
They are definitely in here. And Charmaine, one thing I wanted to ask you about too is just in seeing what we have a mom in whose daughter was killed recently.
So sorry.
Where do you see the clinical impact of the arts? I'm sure in your work, art therapy, art as an outlet, just to maybe adapt for me today after listening to you. If you go into the clinical piece, I might just slip up under my desk a little bit.
No, it's interesting because that's where I am now, right? Like, so before people would only, and not to say that the economic development and economic empowerment aspect is not important, but I think the pandemic is what really showed us how important arts were for wellness. right? And so that's why when I opened, I said, this is going to be a place for joy, right?
Yes, you
Um,
did.
this is what this is about. This is about the healing that can come from the music and the arts. You know, my mom was big in the church, and the music was like her
Listen.
favorite thing. And after she passed away, you know, let me just say, my mother, and some people who've heard my story know I talk about this. My mother came from the Jim Crow South to the North with a one-way ticket from with Greyhound ticket from North Carolina. She came from a sharecropping family. I am the granddaughter of Janie and Lee Nash that were sharecroppers in Catawba, North Carolina. And she never made more than minimum wage, right? And she also was a domestic, and she worked for this right before she died. She was working for a Jewish family that when she passed away, that family donated thousands of dollars to her little Pentecostal church, Little Mount Zion Holiness Church, to
Yes.
to put in the system for her music, because you know the church didn't have a state of the art music
Yeah,
system.
it's just to be up.
And so that's the thing about Grok. We're going to be state of the art in all aspects, right?
Yes.
Because we deserve, full stop. Full stop.
Period. Just we deserve. No excuse, no reason why.
Right?
Who did that song? Tank or somebody? They need to rearrange it and just say, I deserve, and just leave it right there.
That's right.
Listen.
That's right.
Oh, God. So please keep us abreast of the exhibits coming.
Yes.
Anything else that you're doing. There are a lot of folk. I'm sure at some point you'll have some like focus or community listening or something. Or
Oh,
whatever.
yes. I've already spoken to Mr. Knight over at the Roxbury branch. When I tell you that, when I listen.
He just casually already spoke to Mr. Knight over at the Roxbury branch. For those of you that don't know to what she was referring, she means the new wonderful library in Nubian Square.
That's right.
Oh my
That's
God.
right.
This is,
And so we're going to have a number of community meetings. I want to roll out the designs. Shout out also to Natasha Espinada from Studio NA, Puerto Rican sister who is leading the design of Grok. I had said to her that I want us to really kind of talk through with the community with the concept. Right now we're at design concept. Listen, there's some realities here. I got to raise $35 million just for the business, right? Just for the building, excuse me. And then I also am looking at about 10 million or so for operating. I have to also say that we are so blessed. And one of the things I want to shout out the developers, because how this is working, Nubian Square, the larger project that is commercial development, but Grok is the nonprofit that is going to be on that campus. I have a major gift that they had secured from a family of $1 million. So that's how I was able to start work, right? But the reality is 35 million is what we need for the building. I'm so appreciative of their early commitment and the fact that they are also introducing me to other people to support the major gifts. I also am talking to anybody that has ever funded me in my work in other places.
Hold on. Let's do this right so your team can capture this clip. Go. Hold on. Where we at? There we go. Now say it again. Look into the camera and do that appeal.
Yes. $45 million is the total amount that we are looking to raise. 35 million for the building. This needs an incredible amount of support. I want everybody in Boston to support this. I'm also creating affinity groups, by the way. So there is going to be women at Grok. There is going to be emerging leaders at Grok. There are going to be incredible opportunities to connect with other leaders in the Boston, greater Boston area, but also nationally. So I'm bringing that to my work here. But please, on our website, which is graccboston.org, please engage. Please sign up for, right now it's a page. I'm working on it being a full website. And shout out to the web designer and the copy person that are working behind the scenes to get that full set up. But you can already sign up for our email list and you can already donate there. And I was surprised by a donation from someone from Brooklyn, I want to point out, just the other day. So there are people who are around the country, and I've said this before, who are looking at Grok, and certainly in the region, we are going to be the nexus of Black culture in New England. Period.
As we should, because Nubian Square, if you're paying attention in what's going on in Nubian Square, some of the things that are being done in the city, I'm sure you heard about Corinne, who's the nightlife czar. You've met Shagun and now Matt Borders, who's the head of events and tourism. And then there's a whole,
I've been in his DMs.
listen, that's the good brother there. And I just seeing all of this Black excellence come together is just amazing, amazing.
Well,
and
thank
so
you. I want to thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
oh,
but I was
you're
so
good, you're good.
excited. I just want to thank you for this platform. You clearly have a following, as you should. And I just want to thank you for lifting up me, because it occurs to me that you wanted to spend even more time talking about me than Grok. And I was like, can we talk about Grok? But I understand what you're seeking to do, because people need to know who I am, right? And what you see, frankly, is what you get. I am sometimes probably too transparent. Follow me on Instagram.
Hello, hi.
I know I'm an overshare. So if you follow me on Instagram, especially my stories, you will know probably way more than you want.
Me too.
Not my kids who are strings players. So I try to say to them, we are going to a place where there's all kinds of opportunities for you with that. I have a cellist, that's my now 13-year-old. She just turned 13 a couple weeks ago, and a 16-year-old. And I was excited to watch them play Lift Every Voice and Sing in Switzerland last year with their orchestra. So that is, that's me, y'all. It's Taneshia.
And this is what we met both. I think we met both. And I do that not just with you. Whenever folks on the platform for the first time, I want the audience to get to know them. I think even more in this, that there is a level of transparency that folks have seen with you, ascertained a certain swag and a genuine authenticity about you in this work. And then for me, the economic development on top of all the listen. Did y'all see her quicken? She just got a quickening. Thank you, Jesus. And so I really thank you for taking the time to be here. I know that you're, traveling and making, and I love the fact that you're looking to bring Boston out there, but then bring out there in. And sometimes, though we are a national, international, world-renowned city, in certain pockets of our city, we tend to be a little siloed and whatnot. And so breaking out of that and challenging us and different things, I'm really looking forward to. So one question I did not get a chance to ask, minus delays and other stuff. Oh, go ahead. Yes.
I just want to reframe that a little bit. I understand what you mean by silo. I want Boston. I want y'all to flex, right? Because you are that, right? So just bring that out, right? Just bring that out and show up fully. So that's really what you're saying. I'm just saying it a different way.
Listen, that is, and I think that you're a part of that. All of this, there's a professor at UMass, Cuff Ferguson, that talks about social construction. This conversation today, you and I change society, because anybody listening to you that hears about Grok, that hears your name or whatever, in any conversation they have out in society, it's now been influenced and changed. And so there's a what do you call the thing? There's a quilt that needs to be put together, and all of us have our different threads and patches and colors. And I'm just so glad that you're a part of the quilt here in Boston. I'm kind of excited to see what's happening. So when do you hope, construction delays, Boston weather, when do you hope to have the opening? Give us a month and a year.
Phenomenal Richard Taylor, who is
shout out to Mr. Taylor.
Oh my goodness. He also is someone that really inspires me. He's been in Boston a very long time now, but he's also a native New Yorker. He came to Boston on a basketball scholarship, he told me, to go to BU. But I don't know if people know this. But I was getting into the business. Listen, he's like, pull out all the stops, pull out all the stops.
That sounds like him.
He was like, you got to get that money, so every day. And he does it in a way where it's like, this, You know how to do this. Get it done. So this will probably be, when it happens, the fastest fundraise anybody has ever done, not just me. Because a typical runway like this is about 3 years just in the capital campaign.
From your 3.5 months ago.
Right. So it's about, typically it would be about 3 years just for the fundraise, at least 3 years, and then you start breaking ground. He really wants to do this before the end of next year. So I gotta, yes, so I gotta figure this out.
Well,
This.
listen, you got there's a group in here I call the church mothers. There's about 10, 11 seasoned women that just when I hit them to pray, they pray. And Father, open the doors of finances for
That's what
God.
I'm looking at the prayers right now. Thank you.
Folks are not playing. Listen, I guess kind of with the comments, just want to end with this one. Welcome to Boston, Taneshia. We are so glad to have you here. That is, I think that is the meat of this time here. I'm so intrigued. I can't wait to sit and break bread and just, because that economic piece, all of this is to improve the quality of life in an equitable manner, and economics and arts. It's an outlet. It induces joy. Sometimes it can induce a little bit of pain that we need to sit with and get through and then build us back up. Music and change the atmosphere. Anyway, I'm going to start going off. Taneshia, it is so wonderful to have this opportunity to talk with you. I just, you're about to be a new BFF, Jesus. So, if you need anything, please let us know to get anything out. And do you know Naisha Deed? Have you had a chance to?
I have not met, but listen, everybody that's here, you're smarter, Jimmy, because you put your actual socials. I put my name and Grok. It's my first name is my social on Twitter, Taneshia, Taneshia, and on Instagram is the whole name. And both of those are places that people can reach out to me, and I answered all DMs. So, definitely connect with me there. But Naisha, I definitely want to. Hey, cuz, thank you. You are the woman for the job.
Is that Dawn? I seen her comment earlier. Oh, wait a minute. Now I recognize who she is from being little in the little things with her. Nice numbers.
And my good friend Dean. Thank you.
Dean is in here as well. Hi, Dean Marsh. Good to see you in here as well. It is
also a transplant from New York to Massachusetts.
Wow. But I will make sure I do an introduction with Naisha, because this young lady has curated all of as many Black clinicians, including, she did a whole thing about the sound bowl as therapy and whatnot. So I'm glad to connect you two, because she would definitely be a good advisor around some of the clinical some of the clinical approaches. Oh, Naisha said y'all already connected. So, all right, Nye, forget it. Okay. Y'all all done. But thank you so much. I look forward to having you again. And again, the platform is here. So let me know, have JJ, Abby, or you reach out. See all these internet. So who's Jamila?
So she's the one who told them that they should hire me.
Okay, you did mention that. Okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Naisha, yeah, you're the one that we gotta connect. I now remember she did intentionally connect us via email.
Awesome. And then here is Malik. There's a group up here called the Secret Society of Creatives. I would love to connect you with them as well. They're in film. They got the state to come out and do something around equity from the boom opera. I mean, okay. So you'll be getting a few emails from Boom, because there's other parts of the industry that you're going to need to employ Black people.
That's a whole other meeting, a whole other interview. But that's one of the things that I really focused on my last job was the stagecraft jobs, particularly because we were IATSE, we were union. And so getting people into that union, and we were putting them on the jobs of like MTV, the VMA shot at my last job, Wu-Tang and American Saga shot a whole couple episodes at my last job. And so those are the types of things that I'm even looking at bringing.
So Malik, on one of these threads, I think you're in there, and I'll make sure you guys get connected, because all of this, once you raise the money quickly, you don't want to have to go around and make all these connections. You want to have everything on deck. And once that last check is written, push the button and pull. Ooh, I'm excited, Jesus. All right. Thank you so much, Taneshia, for being here. With y'all, stop commenting, because y'all know I get distracted and we here for another 20 minutes. Taneshia, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you need anything, and go back and do what you want, engage in the comments. And I'm here and the platform is here to support. And Godspeed, strength, and covering for you, your family, your mind. Make sure you drink water. I hope with all this you have some therapists. Ooh, I left my coffee out there, and but anyway. So yes, we shall talk, Tanisha. I appreciate you so much, Queen, and just acknowledging this Women's History Month and having you here as a powerful, impactful, humble, knowledgeable, skilled, strategic queen. Listen, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, okay. Have a good day. It's kind of like the no, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
I'm not leaving until you leave.
Okay. Well, I'm good. You go ahead, and I got to go pay some bills.
Oh,
So you
okay.
go
So
ahead and hit
I
that.
guess I have to leave. Bye, y'all.
Oh my God. Did you all see her candor and just, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I've been following her on Twitter and Instagram for the past couple of months. And shout out to Malia for making a connection to get her here with us today. And the connections, I got Naisha's all set. She's connected, Malik and Leslie and Belinda. And so I got those there. And Dina, I hope we answered your question with the picture that it's going to be right to the, if you're standing in front of Black Market, it's going to be to the right of Black Market. I'm curious to what this, and y'all may know, and I may not know, but I'm curious to what's the building to the right? There's the Nubian Gallery in the middle. Shout out to the young folks that are running that with the support of Mr. Taylor. What is that building to the right there? What development and apartments and commercial spaces going there, and who's doing it? I'm just asking for a friend. But I am so just encouraged and excited to have the time Taneshia spent with us. I'm a little bit tired, and so that's an indicator because she wore me out, the engagement and whatnot. So Taneshia, again, thank you. Folks, today is Thursday, which is my Friday. And so we will see you on Monday morning at 9 a.m. with Dr. Brandy. On Tuesday, we will do Your Healthy Java, and we're going to be covering dental again. On Wednesday, we have Mayor Michelle Wu. And on Thursday, the 23rd, I'm not sure yet. So, sorry. And Nicole, congratulations to your daughter for getting in Stage's dance company. Definitely a good thing for her. She'll get so much out of that besides dancing, just character, improvement, mentoring, and stuff like that. So, all right, folks, I got to get down here to get ready to go have a very important meeting. So, the anniversary, next Saturday, 7 p.m., probably going to do $25 for entrance. I just need to get that stuff together and get it out there. Just got the place confirmed. I got to go see it today. Just got the place confirmed yesterday. So, day before yesterday. So I'll get the flyer out. There'll be an Eventbrite link. Folks, go and get your tickets once that comes out. Pastor Marion, I need one myself. The dentist will be with us Tuesday, and I don't know if they have space at MGH, but we can ask him that day as well. All right, folks, I need to go get ready to get to this appointment, and we will see you Monday. Sometimes I feel bad for being excited on Thursdays, but we will see you on Monday at 9 a.m. Have a great day and a great weekend, everybody. I'm really tired, so that means that Taneshia she wore me out. Just the engagement, everything, economics and art, and Jesus Lord, this is going to be awesome. All right, y'all. Have a great day and a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday at 9 a.m. Peace, everybody.